Some people believe that the civil rights movement only took place during the 1960s and the 1950s. I'm going to show you where the civil rights movement really began and bring you up to 2009. My name is Mr. Stromwasser, and this is a presentation about the civil rights movement. The American Civil War ended in 1865. During a period called Reconstruction, the United States tried to figure out what to do with the newly freed slaves. In the South, however, segregation still continued under what was called the Jim Crow laws. The Jim Crow laws were local laws in the United States that were passed between 1876 and 1965. They physically mandated that all public facilities had to be separate but equal. In 1892, this theory was tested when Homer Plessy boarded a whites-only train car to find that he would be removed from the train. A famous court case called Plessy versus Ferguson in 1896 was decided by the Supreme Court, which actually ruled that separate was equal, and that all facilities under Jim Crow were considered 100% within the law. As you can see in the picture, there are two chairs. One is white and one is colored. But according to Plessy versus Ferguson 1896, this is considered equal. Have a look at the water fountains. One is white, the other is colored. But there is inherently unequal qualities about this. The man in the picture on the right shows you that he is using an older water fountain than the one that's on the left, which is the white water fountain. This was only the beginning of the civil rights movement. Emmett Till was found shot and killed, drowned in a river, simply because he looked at a white woman. This 14-year-old boy, as seen in this picture, made front-page news. This was the event that sparked the civil rights movement in the 1950s and the 1960s. Segregation still continued in the South. Rosa Parks sat on a white-only section of this bus as pictured here. As you can tell from the picture right here, Rosa Parks was arrested. As shown here, you can see the Little Rock Nine. The Little Rock Nine were 9 school children who were not allowed to attend the same school as the white children. In order to get them access into the school, they went to the National Guard and had police escorts into the building. This took place in Little Rock, Arkansas. In 1960, however, there was the famous lunch counter sit-in at the local Woolworths. Perhaps the most famous march during the civil rights movement was the March on Selma, over as the pictured Edmund Pettus Bridge. When Martin Luther King led the protesters across the bridge, he warned them of what they were about to face. He told them to make sure they stayed down on the ground once they were being beaten. Little did they realize this was actually going to come true, with Governor Bull Connor releasing the local fire department to use the fire hoses and the police dogs to make sure that the protesters never protested in Selma again. Martin Luther King said, "I have a dream." However, before he was finished with his plan, he was shot and killed at the Lorraine Motel in Tennessee. 1968, Dr. Martin Luther King was assassinated, making the Lorraine Motel the major symbol of the civil rights movement, showing the struggle. However, the United States never really saw change until the passage of the 1965 Civil Rights Act, which occurred tragically after the death of President Kennedy, passed by Lyndon B. Johnson on his first day of office. Change was his motto, change was his slogan, and now we really have change with Barack Obama as our first African American president. But it can be argued that the civil rights movement is still not over. Equality is still not 100% in the United States history. Perhaps one day when you run the country, you will really make change happen.